Hello and welcome to the Renovation Nation show, brought to you by Red Maple, your go-to source for institutional style property management of small multifamily rentals. I'm your host, Nathan Bush. In each show, I share with you real-life lessons from my real estate experience. We invite industry experts, innovators, influencers, and more to explore the challenges and opportunities facing small multifamily real estate investors. On this show, we're going to be covering the momentum mindset energy cycle. And I created this framework to help you get momentum going in your real estate business. If you want more of these types of resources regularly, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel or head over to www.nathanbushmba.com/subscribe or check out the resources in the show description. All right. So for today's show, we're talking all about this concept of harnessing the science of our mindset. We're going to figure out today this momentum mindset energy cycle, and we're going to apply it for real estate investors. I've been doing some research on basically sixth grade science. And so today we're going to apply those same principles of sixth grade science to our mindset. It's not new. This has been done over and over and over again, but hopefully we can look at this in a new light, in a new way, and it will help you as a real estate investor have even more success. So before we go too far into the mindset energy cycle, the momentum mindset energy cycle, I want to tell you a quick story. I was sitting across the screen from a real estate investor, and we were having a conversation, and he was having some difficulty. He was stuck. I mean, he was significantly trapped in his own mindset. And I remember telling him, you're like a roller coaster. You're at the top of the hill. If you just let me push you and get you unstuck, once we get over the hump, it's all downhill from there. And that got me thinking about this whole concept of science and mindset and energy and mechanics and how all these things work together. And so I want today to help you get over the hill so that you can be utilizing that kinetic form of energy, but have it be built on something called momentum. And so we're going to discuss that and get deep into how we're going to do that today. Before I get into the whole framework and start doing some teaching, though, do you guys remember the movie? It's called King Richard. It had Will Smith in it. It was designed for to show the story of Venus and Serena Williams. You guys remember this? If you remember that movie, put it in the comments that you remember that movie, the King Richard, Venus and Serena Williams movie. Anyways, in this movie, I love this movie, by the way. This movie is all about mindset. My wife made a quote one time about this movie, is that these coaches that Richard was bringing Serena and Venus to were in the business of creating professional tennis players. But King Richard was in the business of creating legends. And so go back and watch this movie through the lens of mindset, and you'll find that this movie will help you to be able to get more clarity around this whole concept of gaining momentum. But before we can gain momentum, we need to talk about potential energy. See, we all have potential energy. Potential energy is energy that is stored up. And so if we're talking about potential energy, we can't go too far in science without looking at the law of conservation of energy. And it basically says that energy is not going to be created or destroyed, but essentially energy only changes form. So we go from potential to kinetic energy, and that's the way energy works. It only transforms. It's never created or destroyed. Everybody has within them potential energy. This potential may look like talent or certain skills or abilities, and that potential is stored up. Here's the really crazy thing about potential energy. Did you know you can store up even more potential energy? I was thinking about this and I was trying to understand, how do you store up even more potential energy? Because if you're going to expel energy, you've got to have energy to begin with, and it's got to be stored up. So where do you get it from? I thought and meditated and thought on this, and here's what I came up with. Do you know that people put tremendous amount of energy into writing books? Did you know that people put tremendous amount of energy in conferences? Things like Gateway to Freedom that's coming up here in St. Louis on October 17th through the 19th. Tremendous amounts of energy is being poured into that event so that that event can pour into you and you can store up significant amounts of energy. You gain talent, you gain skill, you gain abilities through things like Gateway to Freedom. So you got books, you've got events. What about podcasts? Shows like Mind Renovation Nation. Joining me every Friday at noon isn't just so that you can learn a little bit about real estate. It's for me to pour into you as I go through my experience, opportunity for me to put all of this energy into you so it can be stored up. Now, here's the challenge. There was a study done, and I don't want the name to elude me. Carol Dweck, I believe, is the name of the study that was done on fixed mindset versus growth mindset. I'm sure you guys have heard this stuff before. Nothing I'm teaching today is going to be new, but again, I'm framing this in a new light. So Carol Dweck wrote an entire study, cognitive study on fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And in this fixed mindset, people believe that their abilities and intelligence are static traits. They're static traits. But in a growth mindset, there's belief that the abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort in learning. So there's fixed mindset, there's growth mindset, and there's this thing called momentum mindset. What is the difference between growth mindset and momentum mindset? Well, guys, you're going to have to hang on to the end to understand the difference between growth mindset and momentum mindset. However, if we have a fixed mindset, all we have is an inability to store up more potential energy. And if we have a growth mindset, we have the ability to store up additional potential energy. That's it. That's the biggest difference between the two. Is your cup full and you can't learn anything else or grow or get any better? Or is your cup available to receive more energy, more calories, more opportunity? And see, if you can learn and understand how important it is that you have potential energy, you're really quickly going to understand how to gain momentum. But it starts with this concept of potential energy. Now, the next step in the momentum mindset energy cycle that we're talking about today, the next key in the framework is this concept of neuroplasticity. So we talked about potential energy. Now I need to talk and shift a little bit about neuroplasticity. And there's research that was done on neuroplasticity, and it highlights how the brain is not fixed. It actually has the capable of changing and growing and expanding. And our brain is kind of like an ecosystem, if you think about it. There are plants and animals, and they adapt for survival in an ecosystem. But in our brain adapts to the environment that we're in. This is neuroplasticity. This is why these research studies have come out and show how important it is for you to do things like try to learn a new language or solve puzzles, because our brain literally adapts and changes and grows. And so with neuroplasticity, this scientific concept of ecosystems and plants, you have to understand that what you plant inside your brain becomes a seed of potential energy that can be expelled. But the crazy thing about our brain is that we can put a lot of potential inside of that thing, because the brain will adopt and shift depending on the environment that it's in. Here's the other thing. What environment you put yourself in also has an impact on your neuroplasticity. So what environments are you constantly going to? Think about this for a second, guys. I mean, if you're looking at your different environments, what is your personal environment that you're in all the time? Where do you go to work? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What is your biological environment that you're already planted in and growing in? What is your economic environment that you're working within? What is your business environment? And what is your spiritual environment? You look at these different opportunities to plant yourself and pick the best environment. It gives your brain the ability to shift and adapt and learn from the environments that you're in. Again, I'm going to take it back to books, events, and programs like this. Why are those things so key? And how do they add more potential energy to you? And how do they allow this concept of momentum to start up? Well, it's because our brains are adapting to the environments that we're in. Guys, this isn't me telling you this stuff. This is science, and this is already back. This is 6th grade science that we're talking about right now. And so if you want to know how to win, you first have to understand the potential that you have and the fact that your brain will adopt and adapt to the different environments that you're in. Now, you can be in a great environment and have tons of potential, but this next concept, if you don't handle this next concept right, all of the environmental and potential that you have will be wasted. This is the one space that you can trash the improvements that you're making and the momentum that you're making. It's called self-talk. Yes, science has determined that we talk to ourselves. Maybe you answer yourself. That's between you and your psychiatrist. However, we do talk to ourselves, and we have these conversations day in and day out about the way that we see the world. And in physics, there's this concept of balance, right? Maybe this is a little advanced beyond 6th grade, but you understand the premise. There's balance. There's balance. And when things are in balance, they don't move. The only way something moves is when it's unbalanced. And so we have to be okay living a life that's unbalanced if we want to get growth. See, you have to go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. The way you go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset is it's okay to be unbalanced, to feel a little bit of excitement in a specific area, or to maybe a little bit overcommitted on some of the things that you're doing, or maybe you're not putting as much effort into one area of your life as you know you should be. That's called growth. That's the shift from fixed mindset to growth mindset. Things that are balanced are fixed. Organizations that are growing are unbalanced. I was having a conversation with my business partner today, and he was talking about feeling a little bit unbalanced, that there's a lot of different things going on in our business right now. And I said, it's a good thing because we're growing. And see, the way you talk to yourself about this feeling of balance has a lot to do about whether your organization is going to grow or not. And so you can't have negative self-talk. Moving from a fixed mindset is what keeps you balanced. Growth mindset is positive self-talk that allows you to become unbalanced. And I'm telling you, from this momentum mindset energy cycle, we're going to bring a sense of calm to the deployment of this energy. But do you see how it's building up? You have your potential, your talent, your abilities, your skills. You want to add to that potential constantly. Then you want to make sure that you're in the right environments, because our brains adapt to these different environments. However, it's important the way you view your self-talk. And you listen to yourself talk about, well, if you think that, oh, that's going to cause me to be a little bit unbalanced, or that I don't have time for that, or I'm going to be overcommitted, or I don't like that part. These are all negative things that keep you from growth, because you got to get a little bit unbalanced. Maybe it's uncomfortable to talk to that person at the networking event, and so you just sit in your chair. That's called a fixed mindset. The unbalanced person would get out of the chair and walk over to somebody, introduce themselves, and give themselves an opportunity to grow, even in the event of rejection. So we got to have potential. We got to be in the right environments, and we got to say the right things to ourselves to know that it's okay to become a little bit unbalanced, for things to feel a little bit uncomfortable. Because if you're always in your comfort zone and things always feel comfortable to you, and you're not having to put in the right amount of effort all of the time, put in a little bit more effort than what you thought was necessary, then you're not going to expel the things that you're learning. You're not going to deplete from you the things that you're learning, which brings me to my absolute next point, is that you got to put effort into things. See, this concept of the momentum mindset shifts from growth mindset to momentum the very first action you take to make yourself unbalanced. Let me say that again directly into the camera. The shift from growth mindset to momentum mindset, where things get a little easier, starts when you put forth the effort to expel the potential that's inside of you. So many people stop short right between self-talk and effort to achieve major goals, major growth in their life, because the effort is the resistance. This is the hard part. This concepts that we're talking about, they're simple, but they're not easy. You have to put forth the effort if you want to get motion started. It takes energy to push a heavy object forward. It takes energy. You have to expel the energy, guys. You have to put forth the effort to achieve the goal that you're looking to achieve in your business, in yourself, in your life, in your economics. You're not going to get the growth you're looking for if you don't expel the effort. And effort is hard. This is where people make all of their mistakes. Science shows, though, that effort isn't wasted. Energy is motion. Kinetic energy is movement. It's never wasted. And remember, it only transforms. So all of the effort that you put in, you might end up, in some cases, some people will be like, well, I failed, or it didn't work out in my advantage, but all work works. And science has proven this. I'm not the only person that's ever taught to you these concepts, but what I'm doing is helping you frame them in the right mindset so you can get momentum. See, not only does it take energy to move objects, it takes a lot of energy to move heavy objects. And if your goals are big enough, there's a lot of effort that has to be put in. Think about the old adage of pushing the boulder up the hill, right? It's hard, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard until it's not. And then what needs to happen? Once we get the boulder up the hill, once you allow Red Maple's management organization to push the boulder over the hill, let the boulder be your fixed mindset, right? You let us do it. There's a little bit of pain because you're feeling the effort. That's what you feel. When our organization takes over management for different real estate investors, sometimes there's a little bit of pain that they feel because they're feeling the push of our effort. This is what's going to get them to grow. This is what's going to fix the problem. But the effort for them, it's been this way for 15 years for me and my partner. And now, for the last couple of years for our team, we're used to the effort. We're used to the feeling of that effort. The challenge is the investor's not used to the effort. They've had success with their fixed mindset that's gotten them to the place that they're at, which they're ultimately successful people. I'll never, ever, ever negate the fact that people who own a bunch of real estate and who are doing financially well are incredibly talented people. If you're watching the show today and you think I'm talking about you, I probably am. However, dude, your families, your teams that have put your success together, admirable. The effort you had to expel to get to where you're at, admirable. The challenge is that you put in the effort, and now are you in a fixed mindset? Will you let us give you the push that you need to get you over the hump? That's what we do at Red Maples. That's what makes organizations successful, is when they adopt this momentum mindset, that this process is cyclical and it doesn't stop. Because what happens after you put forth the effort, you get growth. You get growth. And the challenge that a lot of investors have is they've grown to a spot, but now they're stuck. Now they can't go any further. Now things aren't working the way they're supposed to. And they shift management companies thinking it's the management that's been the problem all along. I can't tell you that it's always the management, that you had poor management before. It might be your fixed mindset about a problem or situation that's costing you and keeping you from getting the growth that you're looking for. Understanding mindset through the lens of science, it gives us a clear and more practical approach to growth and success. And whether it's through energy that we put into our goals, or the adaptability to develop in new environments, or we're talking about our self-talk that propels us forward, or the effort that we have to expel, the energy that we have to expel in order to get the growth, it's just a belief system. The crazy thing about all of this conversation today is it's just a belief system. If you can get your mind on this momentum mindset, that the effort piece will never go away. There will always have to be an effort piece, an uncomfortable piece, the resistance piece, the pushback piece, the weights piece. Look, I don't get stronger going to the gym, not pushing any weight. You got to push the weight to get stronger. That's the effort. You have to expel the potential that you have. And then you get growth. Now, there's different areas that you can be planted in order to get growth. So there's different environments that you can be planted in order to get growth. You can get personal growth. Personal growth is just this continuous process of proving your own self, your knowledge, your mindset, your emotional intelligence. This type of growth involves learning from your experiences, overcoming challenges, and striving just to become better as a person. Okay? You can get personal growth. Another environment that you might be planted in that you need to get growth in is a biological environment. This is just physically increasing in size, number, or maturity of living. Plants, animals, humans, we're all going to have biological growth. Biological growth, again, takes potential energy, transmitted environments, self-talk. And then, Nathan, how does self-talk impact personal growth? I don't know. But I know that it does, because the science says that growth is impacted by every single one of these different key parts of the framework. Economic growth, where you plant yourself economically, if you want to get growth there, business growth, or spiritual growth. All these different environments that you can plant yourself in, you can get momentum. But there is a step during the momentum process that requires effort. I know so many people that I've talked to that have done a bunch of personal development. They've read the books. They've watched the YouTube shows. They've listened to the podcast. They went to the event, but they don't take any action. They don't do anything with the information. Look, guys, if you want to get this mindset down, if you want help with push, then let's have a conversation. Reach out to me. I'm happy to have the conversation, and we can go through any number of different areas that you're wanting to get that push in your life. There's no charge to sit down with me one time and to have a conversation. It doesn't matter about the different situation that you're trying to get push in. Do you need push in your real estate investments? Do you need push in your business endeavors? Do you need push in your economics? Do you need push in your family, your finances? Where do you need the push? Let me help you identify your potential energy. Let me help you in that conversation understand the different environments that you're in, how you're talking to yourself, what effort you're putting forth, and if you're getting growth or not. That's what my book, guys, is all about. My book, The Caesar Method, the reason I wrote this book is to help you get rapid strategic growth. If you like this kind of information, you'll love that information. Go get the book. It's available on Amazon. I'm happy to sit down one-on-one with you if you're not a reader and you want me to walk you through the information. That's what I do. I do it with real estate investors prior to bringing them on to Red Maples. I do it independently and privately, just one-on-one with people that feel they need the additional help but aren't ready to hire a real estate or a property manager. These are the types of things that I do to help you get traction in your career, in your life, and get the momentum started. I'd be remiss if I didn't take a second and thank my sponsor, Red Maples. We show small multifamily real estate investors how they can achieve double-digit returns with institutional-style property management. You can scan the QR code or head over to red-maples.com/assessment and get a free portfolio assessment where I sit down with you and we work through how you're going to get momentum in your real estate business. Ultimately, that's the end goal, right? The end goal is for you to continue to grow, get past your plateaus, and grow again. That's what our real estate organization does. Now, growth comes with significant risks. Take a second and thank our next sponsor, Web Insurance. Let Web Insurance be your guide. They can review your coverages, guys, and make sure that you have the correct policies at the most affordable prices. And what their clients love about them is each year they proactively shop your insurance to make sure you're truly with the most affordable carrier and have the most appropriate coverages. From contractor to real estate investor, if you receive your income via 1099, let Web Insurance be your guide. And all of this growth comes with growing pains of needing people to help. If you are in the real estate industry, you're a real estate investor, or you need additional help and support, we use BBC Global Services for virtual assistants. We highly recommend that you use them too. They go out and specifically source people that are specific to the needs that you have. Do you need people to help you source deals or help you underwrite transactions? Whatever it is that you need a virtual assistant for, go over to bbcglobalservices.com and talk with somebody about a free consultation there. All right, guys, had to get all my sponsors in today. Thank you for bearing with me with my sponsors. Did you guys enjoy the show? If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and put in the comments, put in the notes, something that you learned, something that was new, or maybe a different perspective that you learned things on. That helps me grow and helps me get the feedback from you on where I need to invest more time, energy, and effort as a show host. So thank you very much for being a part of the program today. I absolutely love the concept of growth. I've dedicated a lot of my life to learning how to get things to grow, how to grow personally, spiritually. And so I hope I can share some of that information and research that I've done with you in a way that helps you. And that, Renovation Nation, brings us to the end of another episode. I'm your host, Nathan Bush, on your guide on this journey of real estate business growth. And remember, just like plants need the right air, soil, and care, our minds need the right environment to build a life of purpose, passion, and growth. And don't forget to get your citizenship to Mind Renovation Nation. Subscribe to my email list by going over to www.nathanbushmba.com/subscribe. Then subscribe on YouTube. And if you love today's mind workout, then share this show with a friend. You do all three of those, and you can let your friends know that we're live here every Friday at noon. But you do all three of those and you get your citizenship. There's some free goodies, some things that I can share with you that opens you up to access to some of the content that I've created that's not free, that's not posted online. So join me next time for more insights and inspiration, a little bit, a course of that nation building spirit that drives us to create a community united by shared values, purpose, and a commitment to leaving a lasting legacy. Until then, keep building, keep growing, and let's lead more than 25,000 souls to a life of values-based investing. In our effort of Mind Renovation Nation, we often talk about personal growth, ethical leadership, and making impactful choices. Values-based investing is an extension of that philosophy. It's about being a steward not only of our finances, but of our values and vision for the future. Signing off from the heart of St. Louis. Stay blessed, guys. Stay inspired. And remember, every day is a chance to renovate your nation. Till next time.